clip of the day.
So Cameron over in the Gitmo nations of UK, which we've always seen as our beta test for the complete and total police state. Let's face it, UK is way ahead of us. He finally came out with, well, they still haven't come out with the actual extremism legislation that I've been tracking, which is, going to help us understand how violating certain British values would be deemed as extremist views and therefore you can be penalized by law. So he did a speech at, I think, some school somewhere. And
we should put a list together of these things, like, British, basis for all this, like kicking a beggar. Something they would do.
No, I don't think that would be a problem. No, it's actually much worse than that, John. Much, much worse. And I hope we do not. Well, eventually we'll get everything they have in Gitmo East over here in Gitmo proper. And we are in big trouble. Or let me say, me specifically.
Okay.
Because conspiracy theorists, if you got conspiracy theories, you are pretty much a terrorist. Yeah, you laugh, my friend, but it ain't all that funny.
But you don't have to support violence to subscribe to certain intolerant ideas which create a climate in which extremists can flourish. Ideas which are hostile to basic liberal values.
What could those ideas be? Hostile to basic liberal values. What kind of ideas could those be?
Being against gay marriage.
Such as democracy, freedom, sexual equality. Ideas which actively promote discrimination, sectarianism and segregation. Ideas like those of the despicable far right, which privilege one identity to the detriment of the rights and freedoms of others. And ideas...
Yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. But now listen to what the actual issue is.
This is just an attack on Farage.
Oh, that's what he meant by the far right, of course. But it gets worse.
It's also based on conspiracy. That Jews exercise malevolent power, or that Western powers in concert with Israel are deliberately humiliating Muslims because they aim to destroy Islam. In this warped worldview, such conclusions are reached. That 9/11 was actually inspired by Mossad to provoke the invasion of Afghanistan.
We're going to be locked up.
Well, I never heard that one.
We're going to be locked up.
Mr. Adam Curry. Open up the door, Mrs. Curry, now!
Or that British security services knew about 7/7, but didn't do anything about it because they wanted to provoke an anti-Muslim backlash.
Well, I don't know about they wanted to provoke the anti-Muslim backlash, but there was a drill on the same day, which was set up in the... I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was an exercise.
Yes. Which went active, or whatever you want to call it. So that is now you're a terrorist if you talk about such conspiracy.
I can't talk about it.
And like so many ideologies that have existed before, whether fascist or communist...
Lock this guy up. This is the most anti-British thing I've ever heard.
Fascist or communist.
He's the one who should be in jail.
Good luck with that.
The fascist or communist, many people, especially young people, are being drawn into it.
Yes. Now, of course, we need some solutions for this.
Drawn into what? What did he say?
Drawn into being a terrorist by propagating conspiracy
he's
theories.
Being drawn into the UKIP.
Well, that comes in a moment. You're one clip ahead of me, because that, of course, is the kicker. But I still need to wind you up with what he wants to do with internets. You can guess what it is, obviously, And
we need our internet companies to go further in helping us identify potential terrorists online.
Do it yourself.
Many of their commercial models are built around monitoring platforms for personal data, packaging up and sending it on to third parties. And when it comes to doing what's right for their businesses, they're happy to engineer technologies that track our likes and our dislikes. But when it
Hello, Facebook, looking at you.
comes to doing what's right in the fight against terrorism, we too often hear that it's all too difficult. Well, I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. They've shown, the internet companies have shown, the vital work they're doing in clamping down on child abuse images, that they can step up where there's a moral imperative to act. They've done brilliant work.
Brilliant.
But it's now time for them to do the same to protect their users from the scourge of radicalization.
Scourge. A scourge of radicalization, I tell you. Well, there you go. That is just the start. And you will hear this meme being propagated, I think everywhere. Hey, if you can get rid of kiddie porn, why can't you get rid of extremism?
Yeah, that's kind of what Feinstein was driving at with that hearing that we posted on the show. And the guy, it was Comey, wouldn't buy into what she was talking about. He was thinking, well, we need to. This is not about really doing what they say. This is about just tracking people for the purposes of long-term blackmail.
And that is exactly what Cameron said. He said these companies are great at tracking your likes, your dislikes. That's the way I heard it. They're really good at that. We need to engage that skill, that talent. And
so they can track you. Are you going to vote for UKIP? Are you going to vote for the Conservatives?
All right, here we go.
Who are you going to vote for?
Here it is. Here is the clip you've been wanting to hear.
And there's something else we need to do. We need to put out of action the key extremist influences.
Hold on. Put out of action? What does that mean, put out of action? Does that mean
shoot them?
Dig a shallow grave?
Kill them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Put out of action. Is there a wait? I didn't look that up. Let's see.
You know what? You don't have to look it up.
I want to see if there's a definition.
There's no definition. Put out of action?
Well, there is. Definition of put out of action. Here, I got it. English definition dictionary. Let's see if that includes killing.
Well, let's hope so.
The state or process of doing that. Put out of action.
Sounds like he's threatening to me. This guy should be thrown in jail.
Well, he is threatening, and you're about to hear who he's threatening.
And there's something else we need to do. We need to put out of action the key extremist influences.
The key extremist influences.
Who are careful to operate just inside the law.
So that means they're being lawful.
Yeah.
So we need to kill, let's just translate, put out of action, we need to kill the key extremist influences, which I guess are going to be defined in the next 15 seconds, who are operating just inside the law. So that means if you're operating just inside the law, which would be, lawful, then we need to kill them.
But who clearly detest British society and everything we stand for. These people aren't just extremists, they're also despicable far-right groups too.
We need to kill Nigel Farage.
That's what he said.
That's what he's saying. There are also despicable far-right
groups too. And what links them all is their aim to groom young people and brainwash their minds.
Unlike what you're doing, Mr. Cameron. That is some very dangerous talking.
That wasn't so early. I'd give you a clip of the day.
Really?
Don't you think that was kind of almost clip of the day? Give me almost clip of the day.
No, that's called something else.
Oh, I forgot.
It's called the borderline clip of the day.
Clip of the day.
The borderline clip of the day.
Yeah, borderline clip of the day. That is so dangerous what this man is saying.
Disgusting.
And what is interesting, it took me, because I got the transcript, but it took me 15 minutes to find the full speech. The BBC had cut it down and did not include any of that, of course. And that was copied by Guardian, by Independent. Everyone was using that same clip. And the full clip was hard to find. It wasn't even on any government website.
Where'd you get it?
YouTuber who would, yeah, of course.
YouTube,
of course. That's where you find all the good stuff.
Wow.
Exactly.